Hello, this is Kade and welcome to the next Starfield Shipbuilding video. Considering this is going to be a Friday, I thought what better way to get into the weekend than with a lovely fat C-class great ship, which brings us everything that we need to play around and explore around in Starfield, with plenty of crew spaces, plenty of crew bunks, all of our required crafting stations of course, nice captain quarters, and an interior that doesn't make your brain hurt. I always like those very much on the last one. On top of all of that, the cargo space, well, you can see here, we have a base cargo of over 50k. Now, of course, this does mean that our mobility score here is a absolute flat 0, but we don't worry about those things around here because we have turret weapon systems. And believe me, if you fly this thing in, for example, the pirate fleet headquarters, stuff just dies. It just goes boom, 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 boom all around you, and it is absolutely glorious. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the layout for this particular one. As always, our decks are laid out as follows. Deck 1, followed by Deck 2, followed by Deck 3, and then finally we have a few miscellaneous bits stuck on top without habitation, so we will not consider it a deck. Starting then at Deck 1. In the front we have our bridge. Of course, it's one from Nova Galactic, everybody knows them, and it is a very popular one, and we're needing the staircases that it provides. It is connected to a Deimos living quarters, a 3x1, which is then flanked on either side by Deimos all-in-one birds, again 3x1 modules. Behind those we find the first of our cargo bays, so a pair of the Galleon S204 cargo holds on either side. A connection here is made through the Hopejack Habspine into a Nova Galactic Armory, which then connects to the bay and also connects to the Science Lab and Workshop, providing us with those much needed crafting stations. In the back we also find the first of our 6 engines, a pair of 6330 engines. Then for our landing gear, well, we go again with Nova Galactic of course. We have a total of 14 of their NG landing gears over here in various configurations. So 4, a midsection, and of course the wide ones when we're going further towards the back. We also added on the side a bunch of the Hope 55 landing gears, so 2 on either side. They give the ship a really nice stance overall, and they also act as braking engines. To hide some of our less desirable things, we have on the side a couple of the Taio side caps. So if we take a look here, we zoom in a bit, we find a pair of them under here, a pair here, and also one here with a weapon module on top of it. So this is the second variant. That covers us then for our first deck. To go from our first deck into our second deck, we will be using the staircases in the bridge, so there is no ladder between deck 1 and deck 2. Going then into deck 2, we arrive through a Stroud control station, a 2x1 module, going into a Hopejack Habspine, going into a Stroud companionway, which then gives us access to a Stroud computer core of a 2x2 configuration, and on the other side a Stroud battle stations of a 2x2 configuration. We also find a lot more of our cargo capacity here, with a pair on either side of the Galleon 204s up front, 4 down the center, and then another 2 on either side. We also find here more cargo in the form of the 40T Holler cargo holds. We have a total of 4 of them here, 2 on either side, 1 in the front and 1 down here. The Stroud forward cap wing bits provide us with our nice clean lines and also a weapons location for the obliterated turrets over here. We also have a couple more of the end caps here, which will be hiding some of the less desirable side views of the ship. Finally, we find a pair of the 900T HE3 tanks, so this provides us with our fuel capacity. We of course find our grav drive and our reactor here as well. And also the second pair of our 6 engines is located here on deck 2. Then to go from deck 2 to deck 3 there is a ladder down in this companionway, which brings us over to deck 3 into another companionway, which also houses our docking module. In front of the companionway we have our captain's quarters, And behind there we have a striped living quarters, so that would act also a bit like a officer's quarters, for example. Then for cargo, we find another bunch of our galleon cargo holds here. Yes, we like them a lot. We have another 6 of them. We also have another 6 of the 40T cargo holds here. And finally, the last pair of our engines. A couple of Nova cowlings for our aesthetic purposes. One more up front here, which also provides us with a weapon spot module location for the final obliterator turret. Then a pair of the Nova weapon mounts, which house a pair of missile launchers. These are entirely aesthetic. I am not using them at all. On top, by the way, of our HAB modules here, we have some of the portholes, wherever there is availability, but here we have on the final one, our shield generator. Then for our last bit on top, we have a couple of the HopeTech pipes, 7 and 4, followed by a pair of 40T cargo holder holds, a Nova cowling and a HopeTech cap mid. And that covers it for all of the modules that we have on this ship in our full interior layout. So let's cancel this modification and take a look at here in the builder. So this is how she would look in her final configuration. We can see it is a relatively squat style of ship, and it is held by the fact that there is no landing gear here down the center. So it is actually 3 modules wide. Without landing gear, then we have this whole row of landing gear, and on the outside we add those final massive bits of landing gear, which also act as our reverse thrusters. Then in building it up for the profile, we see that we have our 2 deck high, then we go into a 3 deck, and we fare a bit backwards before we're finally going up to our 4 deck height of the ship. And this means that profile wise it still maintains a bit of a sleeker profile, without using the well-known shroud wing bits everywhere to create that sort of a look. So we're actually using a lot of the different style of modules to create the transitions between those deck heights. Color wise, I went with a color scheme of a white, a dark green and grays here. So we have spent a fair bit of time of figuring out what went where. I don't think overall it looks really nice, because there are quite a few of the modules here that have this like golden or bronze hues to them, which mix really well with dark greens, and of course with whites and grays in general. It's a very nice looking color. Back here of course our really chunky engine configuration, massive amounts of thrust available to us here, and well, that is pretty much her for the entirety. Let's go ahead and take a look through the interior. We say goodbye to our good modification friend here, and today we have been landed here on Neon, a rather lovely nice location. Makes for, in my opinion, the nicest ship landing pad to take screenshots of your ship when they're landed, because it is always wet around here, so you have these lovely reflections going on, which just makes things look even better. You can see it here in the water in this reflection, and in your screenshot it will look amazing. We take a walk around her, so we can see the layout. And you can see her, like, yeah, she is chunky, but she doesn't feel all that chunky because of that stacked nature that we are running with here. Our weapon systems here, and of course then towards the back, and here it is like, yeah, we are indeed kind of chunky. Of course this is where all of our engines are located, and we added a couple more of the cargo bays here in the middle, just to get us as much cargo capacity as we could get away with within this design. And to enter, we will go of course into our armory location, which flanks immediately left and right towards our workshop, and as we said, on the other side towards our science laboratory. So here we'll give you some spaces to store, of course, all of your weapons, and this being the Nova armory, you also have these lovely 2 mannequins, so you can even store some armor sets. Going forwards, we enter then the HAB area for this is the living area, sorry, for Deimos. Cool, nice place. It's nice and busy, so it looks really quite nice. There are a couple of beds in here, which I guess would not be the most popular beds, because this would be one of the higher traffic areas. But on the side here we have 2 more of the birds, and they come with 4 beds each, and of course their own section up front here. So overall a lot of crew space is available. And also a nice thing about this one here is, like, you have a bit of a common dining area place. Then going up into the bridge, well familiar bridge of course. It is still probably one of the best bridges in the game. Then we go into our control station over here. So this will be a good place for people to work that want to be in close proximity to the bridge for whatever is required. Going through this mine. Then of course we have our large control station over here. Plenty of crew spots here to people for working. And on the other side we do the same, but then with a computer core of course. And then finally, as we said, we have one ladder in the ship, which we don't even need to use because we have boost packs. Then we go into our striped living area here, so that has also the 2 bunks. Lovely nice little galley, good tables, so that makes for a nice officer quarter location. And then finally we have our captain's quarters, and I went with the Nova Attack one for this one. It is one of the more cozy captain's quarters around. And I do like it, and it feels really quite private even if the doors are open. Because of this layout, if you come in here, you won't see much of anything. You really need to enter the room in full and go all the way over here before you start seeing any of the actual living areas. So that is her for the interior. Let's go ahead and take her up into orbit. We can take a final look around the ship when she is in space. And of course it gives us an excuse to look at taking off. So pull forwards, all ready. Lift off please. And off we go. The side engines rotating is always really cool. I do wish they would stay lit also when going to space, but at least they work as reverse thrusters and those will light up. Well, let's go into photo mode, and I think it's a little bit dark in here, so let us find a place with a bit more light to take a final look at this ship. Maybe we will go to Poly Epsilon, why not? Yes, please set course. And we shall arrive. And you can see as we're coming in here, like this profile of the ship works really well. And there we are, here in Vola. Go into photo modes. You want to make cool screenshots, always put your ship at a little bit of an angle before you go into photo mode. It works really well. And if you want those engine contrails, go in full boost and then go into a roll and also pull up. So you go either like a roll towards your left and then pull up, or roll towards your right and pull up. It will give you these really nice curved engine trails. But yeah, for us, this is our ship. You can see here, we are looking really quite good in my opinion. I mean, plenty of firepower, as I said. You fly into a fleet with this thing, stuff just blows up around you. These turrets have very good angles. And you can see these on the side here can easily engage stuff on the side. Towards the rear it is a little bit weaker, but overall it is not an issue as far as I have encountered. And yeah, I hope you have found this build once again interesting. I am planning to look forward to grab myself some editing software again, so I can do these things in not single takes and, you know, start perhaps with a nice view around of the ship, and then we go into the layout of the ship and stuff like that. But that is something I need to check over the weekend. So hopefully somewhere next week I can do some videos with that, but no promises right away because I need to get used to it first as well. And it has been a fairly decent time since I touched any form of editing software. Beyond that, if you're interested in just having a chat or looking at all of the screenshots that I'm making before I select which ones I'm using for thumbnails for these kinds of ships, I tend to post random screenshots that I really like into my Discord server. A link for that one you can find down below. As far as, of course, the YouTube stuff goes, I guess the like, comment and subscribe stuff, whatever, do whatever you want with those. I do like the comments though, those are always interesting. Don't care so much about the rest, but hey, we'll take anything we can get, I guess. So, with that all said, Thank you so much for taking the time and for watching this video on this latest C-Class ship build. I have been Kade. Till next time, goodbye.